let's say that you bought a lead. Normally you get a lead, you put it in your CRM, and you go and you prospect and you do what you do. However, in RadiansERP, when you put it inside the ERP and you end up creating a contact, one, there's your weather data. Number two, you can then, at the arrival at the property, and when you take the first picture, because we wire it up such that when you're taking the pictures, for example, with Company Cam, that then fires and lets everyone on that street and that street only know that you are doing an inspection on that street. Okay, let's have a conversation about the technologies that are being used in construction. Now, I personally have been out in the field. I have inspected thousands of roofs by now. I have actually door knocked. I have actually seen some contractors do right, pay their commissions, and do everything that they're supposed to. And then I've also seen some of them fold because obviously, for whatever the reason, just things could not be pulled together, kept together. But one thing that was for certain is that the software systems that they were using seemed to be a problem, because at least when I signed up with the first contractor, I found myself literally downloading 17 apps, and I had to figure out how they all needed to work together. And I just, even at the time, I said there's got to be a better way. Now, there's two models out there. We've got Model A, where you have software as a service, it's proprietary. You've got the per user, usually license model, and then it has a very specific implementation. So you can subscribe to the service very quickly and then be up and running. You just have to stay within the lanes that you're given, because you cannot customize it beyond some levels of configuration, which with the various systems that are out there, there's limitations with each, benefits with others, but everyone seems to agree that some do it better than others when it comes to certain things, and some of them obviously fall short on other expectations and stuff. Now, on the second lane over here, you've got open source. Now, remember what I said in my initial video, that there is the original open source library was called OpenERP, and then it became known as the Odoo community. Within the Odoo community, there are over 10,000 modules. You can go on there, you can download, you can play around with a lot of them, see if there's something that works for you. But the difference is, because it is open source, it does not have a cost basis next to it. Now, like all things, because they are generic, general modules, they are not customized for the workflows and triggers and implementations that you would want. In this case, they can be also, because of that, customized, right? They can be made to work with what you want to accomplish. In this is why and how we came up with RadiansERP. RadiansERP is a made exclusively for contractors implementation of workflows, triggers, and everything that you would need. And that is why in our model we're operating mainly under a flat fee structure, with the emphasis being support centric, because where here you have a per user cost that obviously the more people in your organization, even if you have a lot of people in the field, or if you hire a lot of folks trying to get the sales out in the field active, that quickly becomes expensive. The specificity of the use means that if something is not yet functional, you're going to have that limitation until either it gets put in place, which sometimes, as you know, some of the systems you have to vote it up and wait for something to happen, or if you do ask for it, there's an extensive development cost associated, because obviously it is very unique and not within the boundaries of the SaaS system that's in place. Now, I'm going to draw for you here an example. Let's just say that this is the code library. And in this library, as I said, there are over 10,000 modules. Of these modules, from here, you have your standard contacts module, you have your classic CRM, you may have production, you may have billing. This right here can then be customized to wire up for the implementation that you have. But again, under RadiansERP, a lot of that has already been done and it's already in place. For example, we have a contractor that asked us to create a cruise module specific for the crews in the field so they can see what they need to see and nothing else, without worrying about making a permission level too high that either gave too much information or much less that was irrelevant information. So that module was created for that purpose. And again, it's the cruise module. And that implementation is specific to that contractor. Now, if in time that becomes something that obviously is working well, we can see that becoming one of the RadiansERP modules that gets used. But in the meantime, that is satisfying the need that a system over here could not. What is interesting here is that we had a contractor also ask us. They said, well, we're using QuickBooks and we know that under the library we have the standard billing and accounting modules, but neither one of them is QuickBooks. So we went ahead and wired up the QuickBooks Online QBO module so that then they can then have their jobs and their workflows, send everything over to QuickBooks. Therefore, you have your operations inside RadiansERP, but it is communicating with the QuickBooks module, sending stuff over, and when stuff is done over there, it comes back. Now, again, if that implementation was specific to that contractor, then obviously that contractor would tell us exactly how that should be implemented beyond the standard workflows and triggers that we have that are the native ones, okay? And you can see where this can become very beneficial. Now, if you're a small contractor that you just have 2 people in your office and you're thinking, oh, I just need to get going, I need to start with something, then go to the Odoo community library, download the contacts module, download the CRM module, the website module, and go ahead and start using them. They're already available to you. If you grow to the point where you say, hey, you know what, I could use some of those automations now because we're becoming a larger entity, or if you're already a contractor that is already active in the market and you're not seeing this work out for you, then obviously you can say, hey, let's have a meeting. We want to see a scope of work. We want to submit a proposal, and maybe we can tie in our goals and our vision, because what we have found is that very large contractors are coming to RadiansERP and saying, look, we can generate a lot of work. The problem is getting that work over to the subcontractors or the other contractors that we work with. Well, RadiansERP is designed such that when you do receive that work, it is easy to channel that over to those additional resources. One of the things that makes it so unique, let's go back to the contacts module. When you have a standard contacts module, a lot of people call that the CRM. No, contacts is your Rolodex. That's where you have all your contacts. You have your homeowners, your adjusters, your mortgage companies, your sales reps. Everyone is a contact. Once you move from that lane over to the next lane, most people would then actually call that the CRM, your customer relationship management. But that's also where you have everyone else. So see that things start to get confusing. And again, depending on what other system you're using, you may be told that contacts are opportunities and that they are the CRM and that that's where everything is. It's not really how we model it. A contact, first of all, from our perspective with RadiansERP, should be such that if you are, for example, a Memphis, Tennessee contractor, then you should have all the homeowners in Memphis, Tennessee inside the contacts module. So that if you need to pull up a homeowner and see the address, you can actually pull up the weather data for that address even before you pick up the phone. Yes, you can go and check that in a separate app, but if it's already been integrated, that's one less thing that you need to do. Now, the next thing is when you get that appointment, or let's say you're a company that buys leads, let's say you're not a door knocker, which we're gonna have videos on that too. Let's say that you bought a lead. Normally you get a lead, you put in your CRM, and you go and you prospect and you do what you do. However, in RadiansERP, when you put it inside the ERP and you end up creating a contact, one, there's your weather data. Number two, you can then, at the arrival at the property, and when you take the first picture, because we wire it up such that when you're taking the pictures, for example, with company cam, that then fires and lets everyone on that street and that street only know that you are doing an inspection on that street. And again, that's an implementation that we have done that works natively for everyone, and that just gives you a slight glimpse of what the possibilities are with when you stop using the word CRM, which again is only your contacts and your opportunities, and you start using the word ERP, especially in open source ERP, you realize that every contractor I've ever met is unique. Every individual runs their company different, and you have certain values and certain standards and certain methodologies and just the vision that you have. So why would the software be standard for everyone, which makes you a commodity that all of a sudden there's no distinction? So in this instance, an ERP, because it does allow you to have that uniqueness restored, is what we feel is the ideal software solution for a contractor, because even though construction is complex, it doesn't have to be complicated. Now again, there are a lot of good systems out there. I'm not saying that they can't accommodate what you need. You may be a small contractor that maybe you're still using a phone app CRM to do what you need to do. But if you, for example, if you want to move in and explore what the possibilities are inside the Odoo modules in the library, you can go ahead and download that. And we have that link at the bottom of this video, so you can go ahead and go over there and check it out, download them. However, if you have seen that your business needs a bit more robustness, and that's what I started encountering after I started having conversations with contractors, and literally they would tell me, you know what, we're actually trying to build something. And then they would see what we built, and some of them would come back and say, yours is 400 times more powerful. It's 800 times more powerful. It's 1,000 times more powerful. What they were referring to was the fact that we had already thought further down the line, because where a lot of CRM systems do a great job at maintaining the customer relationship, you don't have the marketing and the advertising on automation and triggers based on the work that you're doing that is possible in the way RadiansERP is wired up. Now again, every system has its pluses and its minuses. RadiansERP just has that uniqueness that if you are a small contractor or you're a contractor that wants to check it out, go to the Odoo community, download a few of those modules, take a look at them, and then envision what those would look like once they start talking to each other. Just to finish this talking point, contractor recently asked, they said, you know what, AI, ChatGPT. I said, okay, fine, what is the issue? Well, we'd like to send out emails to the homeowners, and we have the templates and we know they're standardized, but sometimes we want something different. Can we incorporate ChatGPT? Yes. Grab the ChatGPT module, connect it, okay? And then every time you open up a template, whether it's an SMS or an email, you can go ahead and call the module. It creates the message and you can send the uniqueness that you want. Just one of the examples of what you can do. If you're a contractor that says every time I finish a build, I want to send the homeowners a gift, and it's a greeting card that also comes through the print module. If we connect to the, for example, the FedEx module, maybe there's something that you want delivered. Keep in mind, we are flat fee, and this is not a pitch video for our service, more than it is for information to know that you have more options, especially in the business that you're in, that you want to be unique. So if there's an implementation that you've been looking for that would give you the uniqueness or at least represents your business, then obviously ERP as opposed to your standard CRM might be what works for you. If you have any questions, drop us a message. We'd be more than happy to reach out to you. This is only a overview video. We will be breaking out the modules, we'll be talking about other parts, even some of the sales processes, because some folks do insurance work, some people do retail, some do commercial, but every single one of them has a different process. And a lot of times it's nice talking about that in examples so that you can see what other ways you can implement the RadiansERP instance to accommodate your goal that you're trying to accommodate, especially when the marketing is talking within the workflow processes of your production, so that by the time you get to the end of the chain, you have that relationship strengthened. And the goal is frequency. You want as much frequency and as many touch points as possible. And we look forward to your questions so that we can explore the idea. Thank you again for your time.